Hello everyone and welcome back to this next lecture. So in this lecture we will deploy this ERC721 example contract and interact with it just the way we did with the other contracts as well. So let's come over here and we will compile it, and the compilation was successful. So we come over here and now we can deploy it. So to deploy it we need several arguments. So the first will be a name. So again, you can choose any name you want. Let us take the example of this fungible token representing patents, right? So let's say this particular example is patents. I don't want to think of something silly like, digital art or something like that, because something which is patents is more engineering application oriented, and this is something which is more relatable to us engineers. So let's say this is science patents or tech patents. Right? This is the name of the token. Now we have to give it a symbol. So I can just say TPT. Any token, you can give it any symbol you want. The last is the token URL. Now this is the URL at which you can find information about these patents. Now again, there is no particular website, so I'm just going to create some. I will just say HTTP and we'll say techpatents.com, and we put a slash at the end because whatever token ID is added, it is simply concatenated here. So for example, if you come over here to the base token URI, whenever you pass a particular token ID, you are going to concatenate the token ID to the base URI. So therefore, it is always a good idea that you end it with a slash. Otherwise, this token ID will be just one continuation, which will be a broken URL, right? So with this, we are now ready to deploy. We will click on the deploy button and it was successful. We should now have a contract. We do. So let's click on it and see what all we can do. So we have a lot of functions. And these are the functions. So you can do the usual name, owner of, so on and so forth. In this case, you will not get an initial owner of. So this account that deployed it will not have any tokens, because like I said, tokens are not created at the time of deployment. Tokens are created when an event occurs. So first and foremost, we need to start creating some tokens. So let's say we create a token, right? And we will see this token now belongs to, let's say account number 1 is not a scientist or an engineer. Let's say it's account 2. It belongs to account number 2. So we will paste it here and we will transact. So this was now successful, right? So now the question is, how do we find out where this token is owned? And for that, we saw that there are several methods. So for example, you can say owner of. So you can say owner of. If you come over here, you have to give a token ID. Now we have already seen that it starts with 1 and it increments, right? So if I say token ID 1 and I call it, you will get the address of this second account and you can verify that yourself, right? And if you come over here, you will see that you will now get other things as well. So for example, you will get the token URI. So for the token URI, again, you have to specify the token ID, you call it, and you will get this token URI. So this is where you will get the actual patent document. That is, what does this invention do? So this can be found here. So you can copy it, paste it in the web browser, and you can read the patent document. Of course, this won't work here, but in reality, this may be the US Patents Office or something else. So with this, we can now do something else. So for example, let's say we want to now check the balance of. So we want to check the balance of this account number 2. So account number 2 has one patent, right? Because we created one patent on behalf of it. So let's say we copy account number 3. Account number 3 will not have any patents. So it will be 0. So only those accounts which have some patents are going to now have a balance. So what we will do, let's come over here and play around a little more. So let's say, for example, I will say create token again. Let's come over here, create token. And in this case, let's create the same token to this second address as well. And let's pick out some more. So let's copy address number 3, paste it, transact it, and once again, and once again. So let's give it 3 patterns. So account number 2 has 2 patterns, account number 3 has 3 patterns. So now that this has been done, we can come over and verify. So let's say, for example, we say balance off. So in balance off, let me delete this, go to account number 3, patent, and you will see it has 3 patterns because we granted 3 patterns to account number 3. And let's copy account number 2, and you should get 2. And that is indeed the case because we had created the very first patent and then we granted it one more patent. So now that we have this, let's do some transferring. So for example, let's go over to the transfer. So you will see there is a safe transfer and a transfer. So now in this case, if you say it is always advisable to do a safe transfer from. Now let me just check what is the other function. Safe transfer from. And there is a data. This is in case you want to actually send optional data that the contract can handle. So if you know that you are transferring tokens to a contract and some post processing needs to be done, then you can pass low level call data to that particular method. Of course, that is not the case. So we can just go back to the simple method and I will choose this one. So always use the safe methods instead of the regular methods because this at least has the check that if it is going to a contract, the contract should be able to handle it. In our case, it doesn't matter because we are only dealing with these test accounts. So the from address, let's say we want to transfer accounts from the from address, that is from account number 2. So we are transferring one patent out of 2 patents held by account number 2. And we want to transfer it, let's say, to account number 5. So account number 5 is buying out one patent from account number 2. So now the question is, what is it being held? Let's say the very first patent, token number 1. Now, I am calling this as account number 3. This should be an illegal call. Why? Because only account number 2 or the authorized representative of that account should be able to make this call. So if I click on transact, you will get an error. That means insufficient approval. Because it is the owner of the contract or an authorized representative who can make this transfer. So let's switch back to account number 2. And now let's do this transfer and you will see it now worked. So let's now go and find out who is the owner of account number of token number 1. So if you come over here and say owner of, and this owner of token number 1 has changed. So if you come over here, you will see it is now account number 5 and you see 611, 617 and this is 617. So this is how you transfer tokens from one account to the other. Now we can authorize a representative as well. So for example, if you come over here and we will say approve. So approve method is used to approve a particular token to somebody else. So if you come over here and have a look, we saw the approve method here, right? And this approve method is going to now assign the token, will call this other method and this method eventually assigns the token approvals. So therefore we can of course do the same here as well. So let's say for example, you want to approve account number 13. Let's say not account number 13. 13 is an unlucky level for many people. So let's say account number 12. And now I want to assign this as account number 3. So account number 3 has several tokens, right? So account number 3 has a token which is let's say 2. And we did create, for example, we created 1 token for account number 1. Then we created 3 tokens for account number 3. And then 1 more token for account number 2. This is how it was, right? I remember this method, but if you are not sure, use the methods to call who is the owner of a particular token. So I am now approving this account number 12 to be my authorized representative for just this 1 token. And if I transact, it says invalid approval. Okay, so that means I have also made a mistake. let's see who is the owner of patent number 2, and that is account number 2 itself. So that is a mistake. Let me go to patent number 3, and patent number 3 belongs to account number 3. So that was my bad. Let me come up here and change the approve method. So approve method is going to take patent number 3 and assign it to account number 12 as an authorized representative. And you see now it worked. So if I were to now check if this worked, I can now go to this method get approved. So get approved will mean that I can say that is this method, that is patent number 3, who is the approver? And the approver is the 12th account, that is this one. If I put something else, you will see I get 0 address, because this patent number 2 belongs to account number 2, and account number 2 has not assigned any authorized representative. So this authorized representative can now transfer this address on behalf of account number 3. So let's do that. So let us now go to safe transfer from, and in safe transfer from, let's delete all this and let's put account number 3. Now patent number 3 rather, and here first let us call it by some random account, right? So this is not an owner, nor is it even an authorized representative. The from address, let's put it as account number 3, because account number 3 is the owner of this patent. And the to address can be, let's say, account number 10, just some random account. So this should now fail because this is an unauthorized transfer. And you see this is exactly what happens, insufficient approval. Now let's switch back to account number 12, right? Which is the authorized representative. This is an authorized representative for this particular patent, token number 3. So if I click on transact, this now is passed. And now if I go and check who is the owner of patent number 3, you will see this will now change to this particular value. So take it out. This was the previous value. The previous value was this account number 3, right? Now it should change to a different value, and you see it has changed to a different value. And if I come over here and have a look, this is indeed account number 10, right? And you can verify that yourself. So this is how we create tokens. This is how we transfer tokens. And this is how we also assign authorized representatives who can now transfer on our behalf, right? Some similar functions with respect to with respect to ERC20, right? Some functions are new. For example, there is now a token URL and so on and so forth. So these are some things which are new. Now, go ahead, play around with this contract and think of ways and means in which you can expand on this contract. In the next lecture, I'm going to do the usual, which is I'm going to copy this contract to our local computer. If any of this was not clear, please post in the Q&A forum and I'll be happy to help you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much for listening and see you soon. Goodbye for now.